Hello, my name is Jeff Evans. Last year I produced some videos with reference to the AAT Level 3 Synoptic Assessment. So we're on a new year. They've not changed them that much, apart from there's not three spreadsheets to download, do the work on and upload this year. There's just the two. As far as the sample assessment is concerned, again, I'm just going to go through them again. And if you've got any questions, then please don't hesitate to contact me. So for this one, quite similar, in fact very similar to last year's, or the one that was on as a sample assessment last year. So this is 2.1 of the AAT sample assessment, the Sam Jones one. And it says Sam Jones is a part qualified accounting technician and you work for B&L Co, a business which manufactures and sells sinks. BLM is co-owned and run by Brian and Lukmani Moore in partnership. So it covers all aspects of bookkeeping, as it says. So BLM & Co. was originally budgeted to sell 5,000 sinks in the quarter, but due to a marketing campaign they've done better and they've sold 6,000 sinks. The original budget for the quarter on the 31st of March is in the original budget worksheet of the spreadsheet. Okay. So again, you would download the assessment as it tells you to when you're actually doing the assessment, and upload it when you're finished, making sure that you take care. So this basically says open the original worksheet, or called budget, the original budget, and in D1 we're going to use a formula to calculate the percentage by which to flex the original budget in light of the actual activity. So if we go to the original budget, so I should also point out it tells us that we should format the cells using the hash dot, this custom format, and I'll show you that now. So on the original budget, so in the formula in here, so equals, so actual sales was 6,000 against 5,000 that were budgeted, which is obviously £1,000 more, and divide that by the budget as always, because it's against the budget, not the actual. And that is a 20% increase, as you can see. So you've got 20% increase. I'm going to apply the same format as it tells us to in the assessment, but for some reason it didn't seem to be working for me, so I'll just show you. So we want to format cells, and then onto custom. And like I said, sort of like last year, if you just tend to type in as they're asking you to in the actual assessment, you can see it says 20%, but unfortunately, again, it might be just my computer, it doesn't do it to 2 decimal places as it requests. So again, if I just change the hashes to zeros, you see it puts it in for me. So I'll do that, and again, it might just be my computer. Okay, we tend to highlight these once we've done them, so if I just highlight the fact that we've done those two parts of the question, and then it says in column D, create a flex budget, insert formulas to flex the revenue and cost where necessary, use an absolute reference to the percentage in D1. Okay, so basically what it's saying is that we're going to now flex the budget, and we're going to have to do an absolute cell, because obviously that's going to the same all the way down. So if I just show you, so it's equals C5, so the 800,000 times the 20%, we'll work out what 20% of the 800,000 is. At that point I'm going to type F4, so watch what happens when I do F4. It puts the dollar signs either side of the D, so again that's the absolute cell reference, so when you drag it down it'll work accordingly. So that C5 times the percentage, we'll work out what the percentage will be, but then we're going to add it to the C5 to work out the gross figure, which gives us 960,000. Okay, so now I can drag it down, and I'll show you just a little bit just to show you. So the absolute cell reference, see the D1 stayed the same. That's what happens when you put the dollar sign either side of the D in that particular example. Okay, I purposely made a mistake in relation to this one here, because what you need to be aware of is these fixed overheads here are fixed. Okay, so we've done variable here, and we've done it accordingly, but the actual fixed overheads are 80,000, so that doesn't stay, that stays the same. So I'm just going to go equals, it's easy for me, so equals 80,000, and then just drag it down. So therefore the fixed costs are now correct. Yep. Okay, so we've done that task there. And then it says, so in column E, the actual sales for the quarter, use the copy and paste values, do not use paste link, and copy the revenue and costs from the actual sales, so the actual results worksheet, into the correct positions. So if I go on to the actual results, and we've got the actual sales figures here, so I'm just going to copy, again not paste link or anything, just copy and paste as it said, to where they should go, in the actual results. So we've copied them across as requested by the task. So we've copied the actual figures into the worksheet as it says. It now says in the original worksheet, calculate the operating profit figures for the original budget, flex budget and actual results. Okay, so let's just have a look at it. So our original budget was 800,000 was our revenue. Due to the £1,000, or sorry, the 1,006 more, then we were expected to get 960,000, but our actual results were 975,000. So, and we'll do the variances shortly. But in the meantime, it's asked us to work out the actual profit figures. Okay, so the actual profit figures are. So it's the 800,000, so the sales revenue, minus the sum of, so it's the sum of all the costs, and then close brackets, which gives us 33,000. I can drag that over, so we've covered the flex and the actual figures. I'm just going to change the font to Arial, so it's the same as the rest of it. So it looks better. That's it. So we've calculated the figures as far as the original flex to natural, and it says in column F, calculate the variances between the flex budget and the actual results, showing adverse variances as negative figures and favourable variances as positive figures. So again, so what we're saying here, so when it comes to the variances, you have to be careful, think about it logically, because if your actual results were 975,000 and your flexed budget results were 960,000, then obviously you've got a positive variance. So actual 975,000 minus budgeted is 15,000, okay? Whereas obviously with the cost it's different. So if your say materials were expected to be £108,000 for the additional 1,000, or for the 6,000 sinks, then the actual results were only 105. So obviously that's a positive variance because it's better than we expected. Sorry, just close that. So equals, so the cost minus the actual in this example is a positive variance. And you'll see if I drag that down now because we're talking costs. I'll just take that out there. Because we've not done that yet. So basically we've got a variances accordingly with reference to our particular flex budget against the actual results. If I just go to see where we're up to, yep, so we've done that. And then it says insert a formula in F16, the operating profit variance that totals the cells F15 to 18. Okay, so we'll put the total figure in here, just auto sum. And we'll see we've got 16,200. Remember when I dragged it down before, accidentally, it had minus 16,200. So just be wary of that and make sure that you read the question carefully. So again, so we've done that one. It now says in the original budget worksheet, it says we're going to insert an if statement in F18 which will show agreed if the figure for the operating price variances is the same as the difference between the column totals for the flexed budget and actual results, and check if they do not. Okay, it sounds a lot more grander than what it is, but all we're doing in F18, so on F18 it's asking us to do an if function. All it's basically saying is if that one, so if E16 minus D16 equals F16, then agreed. So it's just saying, just working out, is it accurate, is it correct? Okay, I'll show you. So in F18, so if we go into formulas, and I've recently used, I've got them in there, so I've got the if function. Okay, so the logical test is, so if E16 minus D16 equals F16, which is true in this particular case. So if that is true, then that would be agreed as far as the actual function is concerned, and if it wasn't right, then we'd need to check it. Okay, so again, I'll just show you. So it is agreed because we know it's correct. But if we just change that figure to 17,200 when we know it would be wrong, you'll see how it changes it to check. Okay, so the if function does tend to cause some students some problems, but if you think about it logically and what's it actually asking you, then it's not too bad. So agreed, as we've done in that one. Freezing frames does tend to cause some problems for quite a few students, but this one is saying, so freeze the workshop, so the worksheet even, so the range A1 to B16 always remains visible during scrolling. Okay, so what it wants us to do is between A1 to B16, it wants us to be able to scroll, so therefore we can cover, we can see what we're doing. So if I just show you, so we go to the cell in the next column, so in C and C17, and we want to freeze everything sort of to the left and above that. So let me show you. So if I go into view, and then you got freeze panes here, so we're going to freeze the panes at that point, and then you can see that we can scroll across and there's no problems, and we can also scroll up and down. In the actual assessment in the mark sheet, it just says make sure that you can't scroll above into the A1 and to the B16 rows and the columns. So that's right. So therefore that's freezing the frames either side. Okay, play about with it and do a bit of practice and you'll see. Okay, what I originally did was over here, so if I went to C1 and freeze the frames here, it only just freezes the ones to the side A and B columns, but I can scroll up and it doesn't want us to do that in the assessment, so therefore unfreeze the frames and it will be C17, so everything to the left will freeze again. See? So it's immediately above to the side. So that's freezing the frames. I like that one. And then it says for point D, it says Brian and Lakamani have been told by the bank that their target profit for quarter ending, so for the next quarter must be £95,000. So the target profit must be £95,000. Brian wants to know why, wants to know by how much the cost of direct materials 3 will need to be reduced in order to meet that profit. To answer Brian, or to be able to answer Brian's question, you'll need to use the goal seek function, which is what we used last year in our practice, and in the exams, I think. But you must capture the evidence of this in the worksheet, calls screen print before accepting the goal seek. So it just wants to make sure that you know how to do the goal seek function before actually actioning it, I suppose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy all the data in the original worksheet and paste it, not paste link, but just paste it into the goal seek worksheet, which is here. So let's get all the original data. So from A1 down to F16, we'll copy it and we'll paste it into goal seek as it's asked us to do. Just make sure it all fits on. Okay. So copy the data into the worksheet, start in A1, which is what we've done. It now says in the goal sheet, I'll say that again, goal seek worksheet, you need to use the goal seek function to investigate what change in the direct materials 3, so in cost figure E8 or cell E8, will be required to generate an actual profit of £95,000. I'll show you exactly what they mean. But before we action, it says here, so when you've completed the goal seek dialog box, when it's showing, but before you click the OK button, use a screen print function and capture the evidence of your work, and then accept the goal seek. So what it's basically saying, if we go into the goal seek function, and it was quite a bit long-winded what it was asking, but in essence what it's saying, for our profit here to be £95,000, what would the materials in E8 need to be? So what would the cost need to be for us to achieve a profit of £95,000? So we're going to do that through the goal seek function. So if we go on to data, so if we go into data and it's under what if analysis and it's goal seek, okay, so it's basically saying now as far as the goal seek is concerned, so the cell is saying, so to the value of £95,000, sorry, let's do that again. So it's saying that if the profit, so if E16 was to be £95,000, then how much would the cost need to be? So again, if I just click on that, so it's that E8, I'll explain it before I click OK. And it says here, so let's just read it again. So E16, so E16, for E16 to change to £95,000, what would E8 need to be? Okay, again, as I said before, you need to now do a screenshot before you click OK, and just to highlight the fact that you've set it up properly. So for me, it is that one, and I'll go on to screen print, and it tells me, in fact, I've done the screen print, so what I can do now is I can actually, I'll just take that because it's gone over. Don't go to the worksheet. So it was E8. That's because I clicked on the other cell. Take that out. See if it works. Yeah. Okay, so it's worked anyway. In fact, I'm going to do the screen print on that in a second. So it's changed it. So it's saying for us to achieve a profit of £95,000, the actual materials cost of direct materials 3 would need to reduce to 159,500. Okay, so I can click OK and then provide the evidence that they're required. So paste it, and then you can see here. So I've got E8, so on and so forth. Okay, so we've done task 2.1 A, B, C and D. Okay, I'll produce some videos for the other sample assessments or the other parts to it. and then get back to you. Thank you.